So I'll go over here and momentarily delete this for now. This piece here in the middle, the fitting, or we could just keep it in for now and disconnect it from the system from this point. And so I could put a siphon in between them to connect them up. All right, now let's go to the plan. And then I'll grab this and move this towards this direction. And then I can drag it over here and place it right here so we can find the connection point. All right. Or I can do this manually instead. So we have this point here and this one. Okay. And that's about that for this area. So now we can actually return to the 3D view and check this piece out. All right, so now we're pretty assured about this area and the fact that it works out. Now we only have one part left that we have to figure out, and it's right here. Let me rotate the plan, and it's right here underneath the floor where I can go here and select this fitting. This one underneath it. And then using the icon, I can rotate it as such, and then we can go back to the plan. Right here we can select this and delete it, and then select this one after that because this part doesn't quite work out. So now I can select it and rotate this piece as well. All right, now let's return to the plan. So the angle between these two needs to be about 45 degrees. Okay. Now, just to be sure, we can lock these two up as well. All right, and then we can go to the 3D view. Now here we can use the create similar option to make another one of this fitting here. Or let's go to the cut first, the detail 13. All right, so this is the part that we need to design. So we can get a copy of this cut line in the plan. And then we can rotate it a bit, and firstly we can use move to bring it down here and place it right here. And then let me just rotate it a bit, hit tab. We just need to find the midline of this part and our work will be pretty much done. All right, so cancel on this. Now in order to place this exactly, I can create a reference line here. All right, and then using a line, we can lock the cut line to that. And so as a general rule, the mechanical part of planning is detailed and it takes a lot of time to work out. And in order to complete the schedule and find out the collision points, we need to be very careful, and that's why we're working with such extra attention to details. So now I'll select this fitting that we have here. And using the mirror tool, I'll copy it over here. All right, so now let's disconnect these two fittings, and then we can hit tab and find the connection point to join them once again. Now let's check this out in the 3D view. All right, so now let's rotate it once again, and there we go. All right, so hit Ctrl Z once here. And then I'll select this part once again. After that, let me just put the plan on wireframe settings. Then we can select the fitting over here and rotate it once, twice. All right, now let me just find out where the icon is. I'll go over to the 3D view. All right, so it's here, so we can click on it once again to rotate. And all right, now to carve these pieces out, I need to create some space in here and move the pieces around. And we need to make sure all of these need to line up in order to have correct coordinations. And we also need to make sure that we model the parts perfectly. All right, so now I can select this piece and lock it here. All right, so we have a warning here, and it's regarding the coordination monitor. And we need to redo the coordinates because the place of the architecture and mechanical coordinates have been moved. They need to be redone. And to be sure that the changes are correct. Alright, so we get back to this part in the plan and select the pipe that we have here in between these two pieces and delete it. And then we have to select the three-way fitting and this piece and this one as well as a whole. And then using the move tool, we can place them down here to connect these two up. Alright, let me just select this and make sure that the connection is alright. So now that that's okay, we can move over to this part higher up. Right click here and select the draw pipe option. Alright, we continue the pipe up to this point and then let's go over to the 3D view to rotate this piece. Now we need to use movements and the rotation of the fitting here to connect these two up and solve the issue. So I can select and create a cut line over here that goes through the pipe horizontally. Alright, hit tab, cancel that. Let me put the settings of the plan on wireframe in order to see the line below. Now we'll lock the center of this with here. Then the direction of cut line is towards here. And then I can right click on it and select go to view. Now here we can see what's going on exactly. Let me first disconnect the fitting from the system here and bring it over here and connect it to this part instead. Now I can rotate it twice so that it's pointing up and then we can move it backwards to shorten the pipe. Alright, now back to the 3D view where we can see. Now in order to get a better look at this, I'll go over to the visibility graphics menu and uncheck the structural plan so we can see this. Now I need to rotate this in a way that it matches up to the piece above it, right here. So first I'll select the cut line and create a section right over here that goes vertically through the plan. Alright, so we just have to wait for the cut line to be applied and then we can right click on it and select go to view to open this up. Alright, so here we'll widen out the frame of the section box. Alright, bring it lower and it's right here. So I'll select the fitting that we have here and using the rotate tool with the center of rotation set on the middle part, I'll rotate this to the right up to this point. And then I can select it and move it over here to connect it to the system. And alright, now let's get a look at this in a 3D view. Now here you can see how this part actually connects, and the only problem that remains is the angle of the fitting. Now in order to explain this, first I'll disconnect these two, then I'll select the fitting in the middle and then I'll align it to the system up top. Alright, then select the connection point to move it around and let's see what we can do with this. Bring it back over here. Now we go over to the cut and over here we need to match the placing of the fitting with the center of this part. And then using dragging and moving, we can match this up to the system. Alright, now let's go back to the 3D view. I'll put the angle on 55 manually for now. So as you can see, I've increased the angle here and then I've rotated it to connect it up to the system. And as you can see, this is how it looks like. Now the only part remaining is the toilet. Now you can see how this one small piece was so time consuming. And this goes back to the fact that how we need to be careful with the attention to the details in mechanical planning. But if we were to simply design this part, we could have done it sooner. And you can see the difference between the AutoCAD planning and reality. And now for the piece of the toilet, I'll create a similar of the piping here. I'll put in plus 500 for the middle elevation and draw a piece here. Then apply, and there we go. Now first we need to create two 45s over here, and then later on we'll need to place the plumbing fixtures over here. But since we haven't placed them yet, we're only modeling this part. And we're specifying the placement. So first let me select the cut line tool and create one over here that goes through this pipe. Alright.